The Yucatán sun blazed high, pouring its relentless heat over the ancient city of Chichen Itza. The air shimmered, thick with the scent of sun-baked earth and the faint perfume of jungle flowers drifting in from the trees beyond. Amid the steady hum of cicadas and the distant chatter of tourists, Dr. Aris Thorne stood alone at the foot of El Castillo, the great pyramid that had watched centuries pass in silence. His silver hair, usually neat, was tousled by a restless wind, echoing the storm of questions that had driven him here. For most of his life, Aris had been drawn to the unheard. While others dug for relics or pieced together broken pottery, he listened for the secrets that might still linger in the air. His obsession began with a single, overlooked line in a crumbling journal from the 19th century. Lord Ashworth, a British explorer, had written, "Upon clapping hands before the Great Pyramid, a peculiar echo, remarkably akin to the chirp of the sacred Quetzal bird, resonates back. Most scholars dismissed it as a fanciful anecdote, but for Aris, it was a spark. He spent years tracing scattered reports, stories of Mayan priests who could make their voices carry impossibly far, of ceremonies where music seemed to come from the very stones, of instruments that did more than their simple shapes suggested. The academic world remained skeptical, waving away these tales as coincidences of architecture. But Aris was convinced Chichen Itza held the key. He arrived with a small team, though most drifted away as his methods grew stranger. He wasn't interested in digging or cataloging. He came to listen. His equipment, parabolic microphones, laser vibrometers, spectral analyzers, looked out of place among the ruins, drawing curious glances from tourists and wary looks from his colleagues. Only Dr. Elena Petrova, a sharp-minded acoustician, stayed by his side. She admired his passion, even as she questioned his sanity. Their first real breakthrough came not at the famous pyramid, but at the Temple of the Warriors, a smaller, less celebrated structure. Aris believed the Mayans had designed their buildings to shape sound, not just space. He set up microphones at different points around the plaza. Elena, running a routine sweep, caught something odd low, nearly inaudible hum, coming from the stones themselves. It was so faint it barely registered, but it was there. At Aris's urging, she amplified the signal. The hum grew, deepening into a layered drone that seemed to vibrate in their chests. It was ancient, primal, and strangely moving. Later, they discovered the effect came from air moving through perfectly aligned shafts, creating a continuous resonance that would have filled the plaza during ceremonies. A subtle pulse, perhaps meant to guide worshippers into a meditative state. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that bring history's greatest mysteries to life. But the true revelation waited at El Castillo. One morning, Aris stood at the base of the north staircase and clapped his hands. The sound echoed back not as a simple reflection, but as a clear, drawn-out chirp. It was the call of the Quetzal, the sacred bird of the Maya. Elena, skeptical, ran her own tests. The instruments confirmed it. The pyramid wasn't just bouncing sound back, it was transforming it. Every angle, every step, even the type of limestone used, played a part. The pyramid was a giant, precisely tuned instrument. But why? What message had the Maya encoded in stone? The answer began to reveal itself on a sweltering afternoon. Frustrated by the limits of their surface experiments, Aris pored over old blueprints of the pyramid. He noticed a faint line leading to a small, unmarked chamber deep inside a space never fully explored, dismissed as a structural oddity. Against Elena's warnings about safety and regulations, Aris pushed for access. After tense negotiations and a mountain of paperwork, they were granted a brief window to enter. Inside, the air was thick and still, heavy with the dust of centuries. As Aris stepped forward, his foot nudged a loose stone. The sound it made didn't fad, it grew, bouncing around the chamber with unnatural force. Then, from the walls, a low growl rose, shifting into a piercing shriek, then a soft, haunting melody. The sounds were so real, so immediate, that Elena recoiled in shock. Aris, transfixed, realized the chamber was more than a room. It was an echo chamber, its surfaces carved with intricate, nearly invisible patterns that shaped sound in ways modern science could barely explain. The loose stone had triggered a cascade of sound patterns, as if the Maya had found a way to record their voices and music in the very fabric of the pyramid. The implications were staggering. The pyramid wasn't just reflecting sound, it was storing it. The Quetzal chirp at the stairs wasn't a trick of the steps, but a key to unlock a hidden message. The Maya had developed a way to encode and retrieve sound through architecture. The pyramid was a vast, ancient data bank, its memory written in echoes. Driven by this discovery, Aris and Elena focused their instruments on the deepest parts of the chamber. Using a new frequency modulation technique, Aris sent a series of tones into the space. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a low hum began, followed by a rhythmic thumping. It wasn't an animal's call this time. It was a human heartbeat, slow and steady, then quickening, and then a voice. It was faint, distorted by time, but unmistakably human. It spoke in an ancient Mayan dialect, older than any Aris had studied. He caught fragments, star charts, cycles, the serpent's return. Elena, listening, whispered, "Aris, this is impossible. It's like they left us a message in stone, a sonic time capsule." The voice grew urgent. Aris pieced together a sentence that sent chills down his spine. "When the shadows align and the feathered serpent descends, listen to the silent hum. It carries the wisdom of ages, the path to the celestial dance." The silent hum. The resonance they'd found at the Temple of the Warriors wasn't just for ceremony. It was a beacon, a carrier wave for a hidden message. The Maya had built a network of acoustic communication, a living archive of their knowledge. As Aris and Elena emerged from the pyramid, blinking in the harsh sunlight, they knew they had only scratched the surface. The Mayans hadn't just built monuments. They had woven their wisdom into the very stones, waiting for someone to listen. The acoustic mysteries of Chichen Itza were more than echoes and chirps. They were the legacy of a civilization that understood sound in ways we are only beginning to grasp. What other secrets lie hidden in the ruins of the world? What other messages wait in the silent hums of ancient stones? For Aris Thorne, the journey was just beginning. The universe was still humming with secrets, and at last, he was learning how to hear them. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of Chichen Itza, don't forget to subscribe and join us next time as we uncover more forgotten wonders. Until then, keep listening. The past is never truly silent.